Assalamu alaikum, my dear friends and fellows. How are you? I welcome you to my training channel. My name is Abdul Khalik. Dear friends, look, every day, every hour, every minute, we are doing something. If at all we are not physically active, at least our mind is active. And every waking hour, every waking minute, whatever we are saying or doing, either it is strengthening us or it is weakening us. We don't need to become a weak person at all, but this because this word is not meant for those people who are very weak. You need to become strong. If at all certain other forces or people are doing something which does have a negative impact upon our strength, it will be okay. But if at all we ourselves are doing certain things and doing in a routine, doing as in a habit, which is making us a weak person, which is weakening us, that is, I think, that quite alarming. We need to stop it. And before going to stop it, we need to understand it. We need to know, we need to identify what are these things which I am doing myself, and these things are weakening me, making me a weak person instead of converting me into a strong person. I think that we shouldn't be doing this thing with ourselves at all, because it is nothing but the enmity with we ourselves. Apparently, it might seem plausible, it might seem okay, but it is counterintuitive. Let's try to know what are those things which are making us very weak. After some sort of research, we could identify the 10 things which are making us a weak person. And I think that we need to stop doing that, so that we could protect ourselves from being a weak person by we ourselves. So there are 10 things in number. There are 10 such things which we definitely we need to stop doing. Let's look upon all of those 10 things one by one. First of all, it is always saying yes. Always saying yes is one of those attitudes which makes us definitely a weak person. We don't need to say yes all the time. We don't need to cooperate and we don't need to comply for all the time. Rather, we need to think upon each of the things separately, whether I should keep doing it or I should stop doing that. Dear friends, never be never be ready to say yes all the time. We need to think well whether it is okay to say yes, it is okay to cooperate, it is okay to comply the instructions, or to refuse it. Refusing does not mean that we have to fight with those people. We can do that quite a polite manner, politely but firmly. Don't say yes against every demand. Number two, that is over apologizing. If at all something bad, wrong was done by us, either we shouldn't be doing it intentionally at all, but if it still happened, I think that we need to say sorry. We need to say I am ashamed of that. We need to apologize as well. Because those who don't apologize, who don't say sorry, they are the arrogant people. Even if at all they have done the bad thing, they are unwilling to apologize, which is not good at all. But I think at the same time, if at all those people are arrogant, the how come can it be justified that we are seen over apologizing? If at all something is my right, if I'm allowed and permitted by the law of the land, if at all I'm allowed and permitted by the Sharia law, I think that I should be having every right to do that. Why to say sorry if at all I am doing what I need, what is allowed to me morally and ethically? If at all it is allowed to me, then I think I can carry it on. I don't need to over apologize. And if at all it was slightly bad thing, I think there is every need to apologize. But still here the over apologizing, it might not be a reasonable action at all. Now the third is neglecting personal needs. Why to neglect personal needs? Because neglecting the personal need, either because you are busy in the work or because certain other reason, I think it is definitely making us weak. As well as the over apologizing, as well as saying yes to everything else, I think these are all things which are making us weak. So it is the always saying yes, it is over apologizing, it is neglecting the personal needs, which is making us weak person. Now the fourth is seeking validation all the time, seeking the validation of the people for all the time, that it should be validated by other people, then only it would be okay. I think that is wrong. If it is not connected with other people, if it is my right, if it is my birthright, if at all I am allowed by the law of the land, if at all I am allowed by the Sharia law, if it is morally, ethically okay, I don't need to seek the validation at all. Because seeking the validation all the time over all the things, I think that definitely makes us a weak person. We don't need to become. And now the fifth is it is avoiding disagreements, it is avoiding the conflict. I think that we should not be conflicting with other people. We don't need to make the disagreement with the people over all the things, but there are certain things where we do have every right to disagree, where we do have every right to take a stand upon our own justified stance. So why to avoid the conflict at the cost of at the cost of this, at the cost of that? I think that we should not be avoiding the conflict. One, it is unavoidable, so why not to take a stand? One, it is justified, why to run away from here? So I think that we don't need to avoid the conflict. If at all there are certain important things at stake, if at all there are certain important things at stake, I think that we don't need to run away from the conflict at all. So the next thing is it is the suppressing of your emotions. Suppressing of the emotions, it is again bad thing, and it is making us a weak person. Like, if at all we are running away from the argument, from the conflict, from the disagreement, that is making us weak. And I mean, where it become necessary, we need to take stand. At the same time, I think that we should be shouldn't be suppressing our emotions at all. Our emotion should be identified. What kind of emotion is it, by the way, and whether it is positive or negative. If it is a negative emotion, what to do about that? For that purpose, I think that each one of us need to learn certain things about the emotional intelligence. If at all being intelligent is important, so being emotionally intelligent, it is being considered even more important. And for a good life, a happy life. And if at all somebody is unhappy in their life, I think the biggest ever reason is that they are lacking the emotional intelligence which they need to learn, which they need to adopt. So, dear friend, here as we are talking about the emotions, I think that we shouldn't be suppressing it at all. Rather, we need to understand it first. What emotion is it? Is it positive or negative? Then what to do about it? simply suppressing and putting it under the carpet, I think it becomes a volcano. It does not go away anywhere else. It might become weakened at the moment, but dear friends and fellows, it is not going to be wasted at all. So it will stay there. Now it is important for us not to suppress our emotions, rather to tackle it, to handle it in a sensible, in an intelligent manner. Now the seventh is overextending yourself. Overextending yourself. What is this, by the way? Overextending yourself mean that if at all we don't have much of the time, but still we are overcommitting. I want to be this. I shall on our own as well. On our own as well, we are seen, making the plan. I shall be doing this. I shall be doing that. I can do that, and I can do that. I think simultaneously all the things cannot be done. So in the same manner, if at all we are unable to refuse, we are unwilling to say no to every request and no to every we don't have to, we cannot refuse every request. We cannot refuse all the invitation. So this means that I am overextending, and obviously I shall not be able to carry it on. I shall not be able to meet it. I need the rest as well. I need to take the relaxation as well. I need to sleep well as well. I need to take care of myself as well. I need to spend some of the time with the family and friends as well. So why to overcommit myself? I shouldn't be doing that at all. The eighth is ignoring your intuition. We cannot afford to ignore our intuition. As far our gut feeling is concerned, I think that these gut feelings and intuition do tell us certain things, and which shouldn't be sacrificed and ignored at all, cannot be overlooked. Otherwise, we will be repenting and regretting. I think that we need to listen to our intuition, and we need to pay heed to our gut feeling as well. So, dear friends and fellows, now the next is, the ninth is always going with the flow. Always going with the flow and following the trends. Whatever is trendy, blindly accepting it. It is again something bad at all and cannot be, should not be done at all. So why to go with the flow all the time? Why to follow the trends all the time? So that, because that is making us a very weak person. And now the tenth and the last thing here on our list is letting others define your worth. It is very important, very important, very important. And although all others are important as well, but this is more important than anything else. Letting others define your worth. If at all they are to define my worth is going to become drastically down. So I am not going to allow anybody to define my worth. It's me who can define my worth as well. I understand better, me better and more than anyone else. So I know better what I can do and what I can't do, what I'm worthy of and what I'm not worthy of. My dear friends and fellows, never let anybody define your worth. Let them say whatever they are saying, but don't pay heed at all to those people and those who are underestimating you. You have every right to somehow stay at a bit of length from those people, to stay at a bit of distance from those people. So my dear friends and fellows, it does not mean that we don't have to listen the feedback or the advice. We do have to pay attention to the advice, to the feedback, to even to the positive criticism. But do not still, overall, don't allow anyone else to define your worth. It is my own prerogative and that of no one else. So, dear friends and fellows, these are the 10 things we have enlisted after quite a careful research. Now, these 10 things are making us a weak person. They are weakening us constantly. So, we need to understand it on the one hand, and obviously, then we need to avoid it as well. Thank you very much. Jazakumullah khair.